in that one about this funeral cost that he was going to pay for a Hispanic service member, a Mexican American service member who had died. And Trump, in talking to the family, says, if you need help paying for the funeral, I'll help you out. I can't do it through the government. I'll do it. There's this whole conversation that he has about, I think the military will be taking care of it. Trump replied, good, they'll do a military. That's good. If you need help, I'll help you out. Have you offered to do that for other families before? That a reporter asked, he said, I have personally. I have to do it personally. I can't do it through government. So you've written checks for other families before this? I have, because some families need help. Maybe you don't need help from a financial standpoint. I have no idea what. I just think it's horrific, the thing that happened. If you need help, I'll be there to help you. Okay. First of all, that's not true. He didn't write checks to other families. That's just bullshit. For the record, like nonsense. Okay, so they held a public memorial service. 5 months later, Secretary of the Army Ryan McCarthy announced the results of an investigation, cited leadership failures, blah, blah, blah. In an Oval Office meeting, they gathered to discuss a non-security issue. According to attendees, he asked if somebody had paid, where was it? I don't think I go. Kash Patel, at a certain point, according to people present at the meeting, Trump asked, did they bill us for the funeral? What did it cost? When they're talking about that thing. And according to attendees, the contemporaneous notes of the meeting taken by a participant, an aide answered, yes, we received a bill. The funeral cost $60,000. Trump became angry. It doesn't cost $60,000 to bury a fucking Mexican. He turned to his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, and issued an order. Don't pay it. Later that day, he was still agitated. Can you believe it? He said, according to a witness, fucking people trying to rip me off.
Understand that one of the reasons why it was so expensive is because this was a national it was a national event. This was in the eyes of the country. You had people from all over that came to pay their respects to this young girl who was killed. But once again, it doesn't take $60,000 to bury a Mexican. Right. I mean, once again, that right there tells you
a fucking Mexican, just straight up derision. And I like just the holy shit. This sounds like something we would find out Lyndon Johnson said or something like that back in or McCarthy said back in the fucking 50s and 60s or some shit. This sounds like something a Southern senator said, in a cloakroom in the fucking 50s. It's so awful. And again, it's hideous. So Kawam, the family attorney, told the reporter who wrote this, she sent the bill to the White House, but no money was ever received by the family from Trump. So if Trump wants to dispute that he said that, because he absolutely will, it doesn't matter. Because he said to a reporter and to the family in front of these reporters that he was going to help them out, and they never got a fucking dime. Trump can't even run a charity in the state of New York because they do not trust any member of his family not to steal from that charity. And remember, Eric stole from St. Jude's, created a skimming system where they would get a percentage of all the money that was taken in, which they did not have to do. There was no, there was no infrastructure to his fucking charity. They could have people walking around with credit card readers at any of these things, giving directly to St. Jude with no fucking cost whatsoever. And they made like the other St. Jude, the charity money, the money they raised, pony up to pay for Trump's properties, which they would have these things at to basically draw these fucking rich people to these gatherings so they could black tie it around and that kind of stuff. And then they would charge the fucking charity for his own property and then still call it his charity. I would argue that if it's your charity and it's your property, the very least you're doing is donating the fucking facility for the night, the ballroom, the parking structure, the staff. I would argue you could even pay the staff and that would make sense. But like this level of it was so disgusting. So whether he tries to fight the idea, and I see Lev coming in the background. Welcome, Lev. We'll get to you in just a second, my friend. But this idea, this line, like Elon Musk is doing everything he can to keep this line from trending all over fucking Twitter right now, and it doesn't cost $60,000 to bury a fucking Mexican. The idea, the fact that Trump said it, that there were contemporaneous notes of him having said it. Mark fucking Meadows, who has turned state's evidence in the Georgia case and in more than likely the Jan 6 case, has notes of his own, can testify absolutely and will. When they drag Mark Meadows in front of a fucking, to go, hey, I want to get to the idea of the character involved. There's a story, can you confirm or deny that he said this or whatever? At some point in a deposition or something, he's going to be asked to gauge whether he can tell the fucking truth or not, whether or not he was standing there when Trump yelled at him and said, don't pay it. Can you believe it? These fucking people trying to rip me off. It doesn't cost $60,000 to bury a fucking Mexican. That Donald Trump said that to him, and at some point, under oath, somebody's going to ask Mark Meadows if that is true, and there are multiple people who will line up to go, fucking A, right it was. Phil is here as well. I want to thank the Major for joining us, and welcome back from Europe, my friend. Thank you.